Welcome to the Talent Show powered by TTEC, Season 3, Episode 17. Welcome, welcome. I am your host, Leisha Bush. For those that have never seen me before, I'm the Global Senior Manager for Social Media. So very glad to have you here today. Before we actually get started, of course, we always start with asking, where are you located? Please drop it in the comments below and let us know where you're located. And if you are maybe not a T-Techer, that's what I'll call it, feel free to drop what company you represent in the comments as well. Our guest today is Steve Miller, Executive Director of Global Operations for TTEC Engage. And Steve actually started with TTEC in 2007. Wow, that's amazing. He's married for over 30 years, so definitely he definitely sticks with it there, and then has 2 children and resides in Springfield, Missouri area. So we will bring him in shortly, but I wanted to drop in the comments for see where you guys are located today. Let's see what we have here. Oh, wow. We have Sandra from South Carolina, Central Florida, India. All right, India, a lot of India. Good job. Mexico is here. Excuse me. Arlington, Texas, pardon me. Arlington, Texas is here. Gerardo, hello. Who else do we have here? We have Great Falls, Montana. Catherine, all right, and she is with FCR. Great. We have Tampa, Florida here. We also have Turkey. All right. That's great. Where else are you guys located? We have our corporate office. Someone is in Inglewood, Giancarlo. Nepal. All right. Oh, Bogota, Colombia. Love it. Arizona. Hi, Rebecca. Pakistan and Minneapolis. Jasi from India. All right. So we have quite a few people here today. Thank you guys so much for joining us again for this episode of the Talent Show. We're excited to bring our guest in today so we can talk all things Steve Miller, so you can learn more about him. Let's bring in Steve. Hi, Steve. How are you? Uh-oh. There you go. I think they had you muted here. Welcome, welcome. Very glad to have you today on this episode of the Talent Show. Steve, I did kind of give them a brief intro, but if you don't mind, kind of give us some more insight of who you are, what you do.
Well, I am. I would classify myself as a family man. My family is extremely important to me. I have 2 beautiful adult children now, 20 and 23, a boy and a girl. One's in college, one's a nurse. And I have my lovely wife for 30 years this past June. So we've been married for 30 years, and 15 of that have been with the TTEC family as well.
That's amazing, because you don't look a day over 21.
Sure, I started when I was 15, right? Yeah, and I think that, my TTEC family too, because we moved back to the Missouri area to take care of a family farm. We grew up here, and we moved back here and TTEC was where we landed. And
wow.
I started there, and they have absolutely been a family to me over the last 15 years, and given me a home and been able to kind of raise my kids in that environment. So it's just been a pure blessing to, have both of those families. I am blessed.
That's amazing. Very good. Very, very good. And we love to be able to bring on our T-Techers that have been with the company for extended amount of time. So again, congratulations on both sides of the coin there. So if you could maybe tell us a little bit more, Steve, on what you do.
Well, I had that elevator speech, and it's like, it's something like, I provide oversight to a cluster of programs to ensure we're satisfying our client in a way that provides a positive environment for employees and positive results for our shareholders. But in reality, my team are the boots on the ground that actually provide the service that Engage delivers. So our team is answering the phones, they're answering chats, they're answering back office work that directly for our clients. So they're interacting with our clients' customers, and for all practical purposes, they are our client. And so we run that operation, and I provide oversight for a cluster of programs that do that. So.
Great. Oh, did we lose you there? Okay, there we go. Okay, great. And so I know you're really managing global, but can you tell us a little bit more about what that really means as far as the regions that maybe you help manage
Sure.
or oversee?
Yeah, and TTEC is kind of divided up into verticals where they're centered around certain industries or types of clients. And I'm in the BFSI, or banking, financial services, and insurance vertical. And my particular group of clients, we're focused more around a client and the operation of that client rather than something else. My particular group is really focused around property casualty insurance, and there's different arms. You've got your home, you have your auto, you have pet insurance as property and casualty related, but you also have a claim side of that. So I have a cluster of clients that are related to that type of activity. So all in the insurance side of things.
That's great. That's great. And someone actually commented, it looks like Jessica said the agents are the MVPs for sure.
That is absolutely true. I'm just here for the ride and blessed to work with some fantastic people that deliver incredible customer service results each and every day. And I'm just humbled to be part of that team and see what they've done over the last 3 years. It's been quite a ride.
That's great. So now, is your team mainly remote or on site, or is it a hybrid approach?
Wow, boy, that has really changed over the last 3 years. As we've all experienced change, I think, in the last 3 years. 3 years ago, if you'd asked me that question, I would have said 100% in brick and mortar. We get in our car, we go to work every day, we get on our bikes, we go into a center somewhere. In March of 2020, every one of our employees, every single one, were able to pick up their computer, go home, connect to the internet, and work from home. And we've been there ever since. So where I was 100% brick and mortar in 2020, now I'm 100% work at home. And the programs that I work with, there's no plans to relocate into a brick and mortar. We may experiment with that in the future, but the lines of business that we currently have are 100% work from home.
And I mean, that's pretty amazing, right? Because obviously a lot of our viewers and people, as far as the market goes, a lot of people like both remote and on site, but you have, of course, a certain group of people that really prefer it. And so there's some opportunities there. So it's interesting. So now, what wins would you say that you and your team have had that maybe you'd like to highlight and share with us?
Well, I think it's related to that. I mean, I can't describe how proud I am, I think, of TTEC as a whole. I think from Ken Tuckman on down, I mean, the priority during the pandemic was to make sure that we had employment for folks, that they were able to do their job and continue that. And so in 2020, when we were able to move everybody home, we said, okay, that's the first step. But we protected what we had. But we were actually able to almost double our footprint during that time span.
Oh, wow.
And it was really, the team performed for the client in a way that, that earned that business, but also because we were able to make that transition and the flexibility to be able to do that nimbleness that TTEC, I think, demonstrated. We almost doubled our footprint in the last 2 years with my particular portfolio. And so I think, there's so many individual wins in that achievement, but to do that in the environment that we faced over the last year and do that while converting from one method of operation to another. I just am blown away by what the team was able to accomplish.
That's great. That's awesome. So now, one of the things that people are going to want to know, because you've been with TTEC for 15 years, and I've heard that you've been promoted 6 times. So what is your TTEC journey? What did it look like for you?
In 2007, if you were around then, there was a significant recession, and I think my wife and I both moved to back in Missouri at that time, and I wasn't really sure what TTEC was, and I was considering myself at the time kind of tech savvy, and had applied for a tech support role, and Springfield was at that time launching, or TTEC had just opened the building and was launching a support program for a major consumer notebook manufacturer. I went to the interview. I got a job doing tier 2 technical support, and that was my first job at TTEC. And I was able to quickly kind of lead that tier 2 group as kind of the lead ASG at the time, and then moved into more of a weekend night manager POC as a team lead, and then was able to move from more the technical side of things into our banking and insurance. I don't think it was BFSI at the time. It was more a banking client, pretty significant client, pretty heavy headcount. I was able to be promoted to a manager on that role. Worked in the banking side, and had the opportunity. I think at the time that same client opened up and moved into some healthcare products for their particular members. It wasn't on the open market. It was unique to their members. And so I was able to launch it was my first program that I launched. And I kind of fell in love with the launch piece. I liked new stuff. I liked new adventures. And so the healthcare started. It was a temporary program. But we were able to kind of keep that going, work with banking. And then along came P&C, and I had the opportunity to launch TTEC's first licensed property and casualty program that focused on the auto insurance. It wasn't sales, it was more of the service side of things. And so I'm very proud that that program that was launched 6 or 7 years ago is now it's a huge program. It's not mine anymore, but that kind of led my journey into this property and casualty and insurance space that I kind of fell in love with. I know it seems weird to fall in love with insurance, but it has been quite intriguing, and I like the nuances of it. And I was able to had the opportunity to launch another major client and left that original one. And that's the core of what my portfolio is now, is that that one that I launched about 5 years ago. And that has grown exponentially. And the relationship has been such a joy, in the partnership with the clients that we work with. It's just kind of evolved over time. But I moved into a director role on that previous client, moved over as a director on this new client, added a couple more programs, smaller scale, and moved into an executive director role. And so I've been doing kind of that role for the last 2 or 3 years, and just kind of working with different programs as we pursue them and bring them on and launch them. And it's been an interesting 15 years.
Wow, that's great. So I do have one more question to ask you, but before we do that, I want to give our viewers who have come to watch today, again, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us. If you have a question for Steve, I'm going to put him on the spot here. If you have a question, please drop it in the comments and we will highlight your question so Steve can answer it while he's live with us. We know, Steve, you're very busy, so we really appreciate you taking the time out with us today. But we're going to see if we have any questions from our viewers that they would like to know. So while they are thinking and the clock is ticking there for them, one final question from me. Get career advice you would give your 21-year-old self.
I don't know if I can remember back that far, but if I were, I think I could sum it up in, first is go to work. I'm a country boy, and we grew up on a farm, and when it snowed, we went to work. We, had to do stuff, and it's like I think that's just kind of ingrained, and I feel like my kids do the same thing. They just go to work, and I think if you can do that every day, you're ahead of about 85% of the folks, and so that's the first one. But then the second one I actually learned from my current boss, Trevor Forrester, is like, stop arguing with people when they give you feedback. Trevor is fantastic about developing folks and giving them feedback that they can actually use and learn. And when I stopped kind of fighting, trying to prove that whatever feedback was not true, I actually learned some things. So it's like, shut up, listen, and don't take feedback as a negative thing.
Yeah.
Something that you absolutely can learn from.
That's amazing. Yeah, feedback, it's I feel like it's one of those things that you have to like learn as you go, because early on, even for myself in my career, which I'm not a day over 20. No, I'm just playing. But early in my career, criticism, feedback was challenging. Constructive criticism was challenging to take on, and so be able to, if I could tell my 21-year-old self, I would definitely say, hey, don't be so stubborn. So we do have a few questions, Steve. You're pretty popular on this talent show today. So I'll see if I can get in at least one, because there's like 4 or 5 of them. So one question I have, someone asked was, how has work from home, looks like Jamie or Jaime asked, how has work from home affected the way you hire?
Wow, that's well, the first impact, and maybe this is not from a personnel perspective, but it's the technology piece. When you're in brick and mortar, you have all the equipment there, you have the network connections. That's created a complexity and a level of qualification that we previously didn't have to consider. And so I think we've evolved on, the logistics of getting equipment out to somebody, the kind of the technical aspects of checking to see, whether we're capable of running our network through your local internet. That's, to me, been the biggest challenge is, either finding the right folks from a technical aspect. Everybody doesn't live in the big cities and have 2G internet. Some of us live out here in the country, and it's a bit of a challenge to get that speed of internet. So that, to me, has been the biggest challenge, at least from an operational perspective.
Yeah. Okay, great. Here is one more question. I'll see if I can throw in 2. One quick question is, can you tell us, you mentioned that you fell in love with insurance, and so Rebecca wants to know, why did you fall in love, or how did you fall in love with insurance?
Yeah, that probably would prompt that question. I think for me, it was more the relationships that we have with those clients. And, TTEC has always done a fantastic job of assuming and absorbing the culture of our clients. And the clients that we work with in that space are just fantastic organizations that when you absorb that kind of positive energy into your environment, it's just transformative. And to me, it was the relationships with the clients that are in that space that I fell in love with. It's not necessarily an auto insurance policy, but they're just some fantastic, from a quality of people that you work with in that space, and that's been, to me, extremely fulfilling.
That's great. There is a lot of more questions, but guys, we are close to the time. But I'll leave the final question here for Steve. Cats or dogs?
It's got to be dogs. It's got to be dogs.
Same here. Thanks, Leah, for that question. I am definitely a dog person. I have a dog. If you guys probably heard her in the background yelling. But yeah, I'm definitely a dog person too. Thank you so much, Steve, for joining us for today. I apologize for everyone. I know there's more questions, but hopefully maybe we can bring Steve back since he was such a popular guest and have those questions answered for him next time. Thank you again, Steve. Have a wonderful day, Steve. And thank you so much. For the rest of you guys, I think there was someone who actually asked us, what do you need to do potentially if you want to join the TTEC family, you're interested, what's some advice? Well, you can first start with going to our website at ttecjobs.com and take a look at our opportunities, whether you are close to an actual on-site opportunity or if you are remote. We do have opportunities for both. So take a look at our website, ttecjobs.com. Today's job that I'm going to highlight is our customer service representative role, which is a claims adjuster's role located in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. So shout out for those to those that live in Oklahoma. So we are currently hiring for this role. This is one of our hot jobs that we wanted to premiere for you guys today. With this opportunity, we actually are helping job seekers get licensed in personal lines. So if you have a license in hand, great. We accept both property and casualty and personal lines. But if you do not have your license, we are helping you get licensed in personal lines. So again, if you are looking and you're interested in this opportunity, go to our website at ttecjobs.com. We'll actually drop this link for this job directly for you in the comment section to make it much easier for you to go on and take a look at this job opportunity in detail. But if you are looking maybe for some other opportunities, maybe you're not in Oklahoma, maybe you are in Canada or you're in California or what have you, feel free to go to our website, ttecjobs.com. We have a lot of really great opportunities for you to consider enjoying the TTEC family. We have great culture, great benefits, and great people. That's why we have so many employees that have been with us for a very long time. So thank you guys so much for joining us on this episode of Talent Show. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned a lot of information from Steve. And we look forward to seeing you actually at our next talent show where we have our host, Jen Nelson, who will be hosting and have a special guest on that episode as well. For those that can join me tomorrow, I will be hosting the Women's Equality Day here on LinkedIn Live. So for all of our women and our men as well, join us for our LinkedIn Live special for Women's Equality Day tomorrow. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful day. I'm your host with the mostest, Leisha. Take care.